All right, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and today is CPI day. So highlighted on the left of the screen, you can see we are currently forecast 3.6% for headline CPI year over year, which would be above the 3.2% that we had at the last readout. So anything sub 3.6, and I think we can say that's more bullish than bearish. Anything 3.6 and above is likely going to put downside pressure on the markets. Arguably, core CPI year over year is the big one. That's the one the Fed tends to react to the most. And you can see that we're currently forecast at 4.3% for core versus the prior readout of 4.7%. So again, we really need to see 4.3 or below from core to set up that pause. Currently, we still sit at 90 odd percent probability that we are going to see a pause at the next meeting, 93% right here. Now, of course, if we come in hot in the CPI print today, then this will reprice to the right hand side. You will see 93% likelihood decrease, while the likelihood of a 25 basis point rate hike increases drastically. And of course, markets will need to reprice if this changes as well. Believe it or not, I'm going fishing today because, as always, I like to allow the CPI dust to settle. We know a lot of games get played every month. When the CPI time rolls around, I pretty much do the same thing. I say, I'm going to give it a couple of days, let the dust settle, and we'll see how the week closes. There's a lot of games, a lot of chop. So sometimes it's good to be in the market, sometimes it's good to be out the market, and other times it's best to go fishing. Over in the world of Bitcoin, these metrics right here show that Bitcoin whales are accumulating for the first time meaningfully since June. Whilst we sit right around critical support at 25k, whales are stepping in here to support that price level. We also had news that another asset manager, Franklin Templeton, who by the way has $1.5 trillion assets under management, filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF, which now brings the total list right here, as you can see, to a total of $17.7 trillion under management, all, of course, racing and applying for spot Bitcoin ETFs. How much pent-up capital is about to flow into Bitcoin? Well, the answer is trillions. Do you know who wants the lion's share of that money? Institutions, of course. They want so badly to buy your Bitcoin for cheap and charge you fees to manage it. Why do you think there are so many ETF applications? Because they like Bitcoin? No. They like having money, and they like, more specifically, having your money. Don't be a sucker. Right now, I estimate that fewer than 10% of all the Bitcoin supply is held by institutions, with over 12 million Bitcoin held by retail. If you sell out to these vampires so you can get some fiat bought bling, then have funds to import. You will own nothing and you will not be happy about it. Never sell to them. Get as much as you can right now. Enjoy every dip and bull market. Hold for life until Bitcoin is recognized as a genuine reserve asset. And speaking of, you'll own nothing and you will be happy about it. And of course, this is the catchphrase for everyone's favorite three-letter organization. Just remember that as of yesterday, the EU chief said that those that refuse this three-letter organization's digital IDs will be excluded from society. So have you got Bitcoin? Have you got a bearer asset? Have you got an exit strategy, a non-confiscatable form of hard currency? From the sinister to the more positive, Qatar are about to meet with El Salvador this week, and it's quite likely that we'll shortly afterwards see Qatar adopting Bitcoin, and they also have the potential to be mining Bitcoin using flared gas. They produce a lot of gas, a lot of it is wasted to flaring, so why not use it to mine Bitcoin, of course. And in the face of all of this good and positive Bitcoin news, remember, there are 62.5 million millionaires in the world, but a little over 4.1 million Bitcoin available for them to buy. What happens when each millionaire realizes that a new title indicative of wealth is not millionaire, but whole coiner? Well, they'll only be able to stack 0.066 Bitcoin each. So if you have more than 6.6 million sats in cold storage, you're already well ahead of these 62.5 million millionaires. Absolute scarcity has not yet been priced in, not even close. And remember, this cycle truly is different for the first time from a hodl perspective, because the available supply shown in green underneath is, for the first time in Bitcoin's history, declining as this current 4-year cycle unfolds. So this time really is different. A lot of people are still out there championing the standard 4-year shape, as you can see right here. A lot of people still are looking left and saying, well, 3 years up, 1 year down, 3 years up, 1 year down. This time will be no different. But as I've just shown you, this time is very different. This time also is full of institutions that are going to want to play games to steal people's Bitcoin in a legal manner, possibly by breaking the shape of the 4-year cycle for the first time. And again, I show you yet another chart that supports my hypothesis. What we are showing here in green is not halving dates. These are not halving dates that lead to parabolic expansions. These are global liquidity signal times by major central bank balance sheet. Said another way, as the Fed liquidity cycle crosses above the moving average, so as the white crosses above the moving average in red, what we see is Bitcoin go on a massive bull run every single time. This typically is close to or around the halving date. But again, I say this time really is different because the liquidity cycle indicator, the signal right here where my cursor is, has already flipped bullish. We are already in the similar sort of phase as we were for every one of the prior bull markets. So looking left, I still suggest may not be the most prudent technique or strategy for this current cycle. So I covered a lot of charts yesterday. I honestly don't think there's much point in going over them because you should already know the deal by now. You should already have seen my perspective. And two, really, whatever happens over today and tomorrow is kind of irrelevant, right? There's always games played. There's always a bunch of chop. We could probably expect something like this from the stock market. We could probably expect CPI comes out and it goes up and it goes down and it goes up and then it finds its direction, only for PPI to be released tomorrow and for us to turn around and get true direction. Of course, the inverse of this pattern could be true. We could go down and up and down and up and then reversed on PPI tomorrow. Nobody knows yet, but rather than rip through a bunch of charts, I just wanted to show you a couple of things. First of all, we're going to be looking, I am at least, I'm going to be looking for the Dixie to possibly put in a top, whether that is a blow off top and a rollover and a breakdown, or whether we just go straight down from here. The thing I want to see is a lower CPI print that forces the dollar to roll over. Now, we may get a lower CPI print and the dollar run, that's to be determined, but I want to see the dollar roll over if we're really going to have a chance to get super duper uber bullish. Like I said yesterday, I'm also going to be looking to see if we can set up that pause, and if we can, does that pressure the yield on the 10-year bond? And of course, if we pressure the 10-year bond yield, then we will see very, very bullish risk on moments in the stock market. In terms of the stock market, we've now set ourselves up for yet another repair, haven't we? We've got another one of these situations going on. So getting above that will confirm that we are indeed going to continue to press on into that next cycle low. If we were to lose this blue trend line this week or early next week, then that sets us up for a much lower cycle low, potentially even an undercut of the prior cycle low. And that's where we'll have to mark the weekly cycle low from. So there's multiple scenarios at play. For now, let's see if we can get through today and tomorrow, and we'll take it from there. The last thing I wanted to show you is the Bitcoin chart. So first of all, still above 25K, therefore, you know my stance by now, right? I'm sure. Second of all, where did I get this fractal from? Well, this fractal is actually taken from back here. It's this fractal right here, this 60-day consolidation cycle that then led to a run from roughly 30K to roughly 69K. So all I did was grab the bars tool, grab this, and then shrink it down a bit so that it fits, because obviously this is quite big and we're currently in this shape. So once I drag this across, here it is. And you can see that this to me seems like what we're doing at the moment. Now, of course, we could roll over. We could have CPI ruin the day. We could end up marking this cycle low way down here. We could enter multi 60-day cycle declines. Anything and everything is on the table. But for now, this seems to be in play, a 60-day consolidation cycle, which tells me that even if we do get a lower CPI print, we may have to see Bitcoin continue to bounce around into that next 60-day cycle low due around the 19th of October. Once we get into this window, I think we will have a good chance at rallying to the upside into the end of the year, providing we have not lost 25K. So that's what I want to say for now. As per yesterday's chart video, everything I said there pretty much still holds and will continue to hold until we've got through today and tomorrow. You know the deal by now, I'm sure. In line with expectation or a cold CPI print, then we will probably see bullishness and that pause set up next week. Obviously, if CPI comes in hot, then the inverse is true. That sets up potentially another rate hike and also potential downside in risk and probably a roaring dollar. So we'll see what happens. As always, I'll be back tomorrow to check out what's happened today. In the meantime, I hope you're doing well in life. Wish me luck at fishing. And until next time, I'm your boy Camel. Take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.